What is up, my internet friends and family? I'm charmx, and today I'm going to be reacting to 10 ways your mind plays tricks on you interactive video by All Time 10s. Now, All Time 10s make great videos, so hopefully this is going to be pretty interesting. It kind of sounds like it has something to do with optical illusions, but with that being said, the original link's in the description, and let's begin.
The human brain can easily trick you into thinking that things are different from what they really are. Today's video is a little bit different as, along the way, we're going to put your brain through a series of challenges and puzzles.
Wait, so is this kind of like an interactive optical illusion video? Because it kind of sounds like it.
See how many you fall for, and see how easy it is for your own brain to fool you. Number 10. Making sense out of gibberish. Listen to this soundbite from the Franklin Institute. It's gibberish, right? Well, that's actually a sentence which has been transformed into so-called computer speak and sounds like complete nonsense. Now, listen to the real sentence.
The Constitution Center is at the next stop.
And try listening to the gibberish again.
The Constitution Center is at the next stop.
Wow, it actually sounds like it. That's really cool. That is freaking really cool.
Does it now make sense?
Yeah.
The Constitution Center is at the next stop.
That is exactly the same soundbite. Your brain is now just using the information it gained when we told it the real sentence to miraculously make sense out of the gibberish. Go back and listen again if you don't believe me. Human brains are incredibly adept at making sense out of nonsense if they have prior knowledge that they can use to piece things together. This ability is linked to why humans so often see faces in inanimate objects. The brain seeks familiarity and is prepared to bypass complications to make sense out of confusing stimuli. Similarly, our brains can make sense of words not even spelled correctly, so long as the first and last letters are in the right place.
I've actually heard that one before, and I know it works. Well, especially right here, because it's all messed up and I can read it fine.
Number 9. False memories. Can you trust your memory? Well, maybe you shouldn't.
Memory can change the shape of a room, it can change the color of a car. And memories can be distorted. They're just an interpretation, they're not a record.
Studies have shown that it's surprisingly simple to trick the human mind into accepting memories that have been completely fabricated. In 2002, Kimberly Wade of the University of Warwick carried out an experiment in which she showed participants childhood pictures of them in a hot air balloon and asked them to describe the experience. Half of the volunteers were able...
Let me guess. They weren't actually in a hot air balloon. The people just thought that they were because she told them. So they're going to be making stuff up. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen.
...to offer details about what it felt like and conversations they had at the time. But here's the kicker. The pictures had been edited. None of the participants had ever actually been in a hot air balloon. Wade's explanation for this is that our memories are malleable because there is simply too much information to take in. When we struggle to properly recall an event, our brains fill in the gaps with concocted memories based on information that we already know about the world. Number 8. The brain can't understand randomness. In your mind, picture flipping a coin 100 times in a row and imagine how it would land each time. Make a note of it. Heads, tails, heads, heads, tails.
Logically, it would be 50-50. However, if you're flipping the coin, there is a way to make it go into your favor. It depends on which side is lying down on your thumb. And it gives you a little bit of an advantage.
And so on. If you were to compare your imaginary results to results made by actually flipping a coin, you would instantly be able to tell the difference. The real results would be much more sporadic, and would be much more likely to feature, say, 4 or more heads in a row. This is because it's statistically improbable that 4 heads in a row would occur, so humans would never think to list that possibility in their hypothetical results, whereas in reality, it is entirely plausible that this could happen. Because of how the brain struggles to understand randomness, music streaming site Spotify had to change its algorithm so human listeners wouldn't perceive patterns within the order of the songs played on shuffle. Before this, listeners had been complaining that the site would occasionally play the same song a few times in a row, as should be expected to happen with a truly random shuffle function. Number 7. Change blindness. The human brain is alarmingly blind to change that is happening right in front of us. You'd think you'd notice if the person you're talking to changed halfway through your conversation, or if a key part of a picture you were looking at suddenly disappeared. But studies have shown that this may not be the case. Check out this demo from gocognitive.net. Look at this image closely and try to figure out what changes after it flickers.
Wait a minute. Let's go back. I just want to see it. Okay, so we got, what's that, a pool and some Asian writing in there, or Chinese, I don't know. Then we got a wall. We got some lights. All right, let's go.
Try to figure out what changes after it flickers.
I have no clue. I thought I was gonna do it.
Didn't catch that? Look again. The majority of people running this demo fail to work out that it's the shape of the moon that changes. Try another
Oh wow,
example.
it does.
Still struggling with this one? The key
Wait, let's go back. I wasn't even paying attention to that one.
changes. Try another example.
Okay, so we're gonna look here. The last one, I was looking and the moon was there, but it was like, you know, different. I wasn't even paying attention to that. I was just making sure the moon was still there. All right, so we got a boat in the background. She's wearing friggin' swimming shit. Okay, all right. I got it. This pole here, this wooden pole. It was metal in the last photo.
Still struggling with this one? The
Look at
key to
that.
change blindness is disruption, even if the brain is only disrupted for a second. So let's see if it becomes any easier to spot the change when we remove the disrupting flicker in between the images. All of a sudden, the difference becomes much more obvious. Make a change to a scene while an individual is distracted, and it's unlikely they would notice that anything has been altered at all. This is because the brain's memory functions are limited and cannot perfectly capture every element of an image in order to notice how it changes. The brain therefore assumes that everything stays the same, even if major changes have taken place. Number 6.
That's very cool.
Alien hand syndrome. Imagine if, instead of simply tricking you like it's doing in the rest of this list, your mind was actively trying to attack you. That's kind of what it's like for those who suffer from alien hand syndrome, a rare neurological disorder that causes limb movement without the sufferer being aware of what is happening or
I've
having
heard of that
control over
before.
the action. There have only ever been 40 to 50 recorded cases. One sufferer, 55-year-old Karen Byrne, developed the condition as an unforeseen side effect of surgery to control her epilepsy. Her left hand would repeatedly try to slap, punch, or undress her. The condition is caused by faulty communication between the brain's left hemisphere, which controls the right arm and leg as well as language skills, and the right hemisphere, which controls the other limbs and is responsible for spatial awareness. In Karen's case, her epilepsy treatment involved the surgeons cutting the corpus callosum, a brand of nervous fibers which keeps the two halves of the brain in constant contact. You can live with these fibers cut, and it is an effective treatment for epilepsy, but it can also lead to this bizarre condition. The condition has also been known to occur in those suffering from strokes or Alzheimer's. Number 5. Room for dessert. You know that feeling after you've just had a gigantic meal? Your stomach aches, you're exhausted, and you feel like you're never going to be able to eat again. But then someone suggests dessert, and all of a sudden, you're ready for round 2.
Okay, so, for this one, I don't think that happens to me, really. Yeah, no, it doesn't really happen. If dessert is suggested and I'm feeling full, I'm not eating it.
This phenomenon doesn't really make any physiological sense, as it sees the brain overruling what the digestive system is telling it. A human being has an incredibly complicated digestive system, which controls both food intake and appetite, and sends signals to the brain when you're satiated. Yet, the brain is able to completely override it, just because you've seen that there's a particularly delicious sounding chocolate cake on offer. According to psychiatrist Dr. Nora Volkov, this is because the brain's pleasure centers, which activate when you eat or sometimes even just think about sugary desserts, are more powerful than the stomach's pain sensors that tell you when you're full. Number 4. Phantom limbs. Approximately 60 to 80%
Oh, I know
of
this
people
one. Basically, I've heard that... What the fuck is... Okay, never mind. Basically, I've heard that when people get, like, their arms or legs amputated, and say you put like a blanket over top of your legs and one of them is not there, basically they still feel as if that leg is still there, and you know, if they think they're moving it, they think they're moving it. So yeah, I am quite familiar with this one.
who have had a limb amputated experience the chilling sensation of a phantom limb. This is when amputees retain a perception of their missing limb and feel pain, itchiness, heat, or aching where it used to be.
It's kind of like having like a phantom phone ringing, if you're familiar with that. It's like when you have your phone in your pocket and it rings and it vibrates and you feel that. So then you go pick up your phone, but the phone's not actually in your pocket. It's kind of like that.
The sensation can be so severe that one sufferer described it as if my missing hand is being crushed in a vice. Occasionally, the pain is worsened by stress, anxiety, or even changes in the weather. Sufferers of phantom limbs have been tested using MRIs, and scientists have proved that the parts of the brain associated with sensation in a certain part of the body light up as they would if the limb was still there. Basically, what is happening is that the brain continues to receive signals from the nerve endings that originally supplied signals to and from the missing limb. It is difficult for the brain to adjust to such severe changes in the body, and so the sensory information gets a bit confused. Number 3. Optical illusions.
I love optical
Everyone
illusions.
loves an optical illusion. Take this one, for example. The
Oh, it's
segments seem to
wavy.
wave and move about despite it being a completely still image.
That's cool.
Or this one. The 2 dots in the middle of the patterns are exactly the same size, despite it appearing as though the one on the right is bigger. Then there are the illusions that split opinion. In 2015, the internet went into meltdown over this seemingly unassuming dress.
Oh,
and
not
the
this
question of whether
again.
it was blue or black, or white and gold. It's black and blue, by the way. Similarly, in 2016, Instagram was set ablaze with discussions of users not able to see that this girl's super shiny and oily legs are actually just splattered with white paint.
Okay, I remember seeing this one, and it did fool me for a second. Like, every time I look at it, it fools me. But only for a second. Then my brain realizes it's just, like paint or something on there. But, like, every time I've seen it, it always tricks me for, like, a second, and then I realize what it is. It's very, very cool. It does look quite shiny when you, first see it.
But what's going on in your brain when it sees optical illusions? Obviously, it depends on the type of illusion in question. But the running theme is that they use color, light, and patterns in ways that the brain struggles to process, because the images you're seeing don't seem to make sense. The brain therefore fills in the gaps with motion, size differences, and colors that aren't actually there. Number 2. Quick thinking versus slow thinking. Put simply, the brain has 2 systems of thinking. Quick thinking is how your brain draws immediate conclusions, e.g., this person is feeling happy, or 1 + 1 = 2. Quick thinking involves very little effort or concentration. Slow thinking, on the other hand, kicks in when we are faced with a problem that requires a lot more working out. For example, 21 × 16, which only mega geniuses or calculators would be able to figure out instantaneously. When utilizing quick thinking, the brain often takes shortcuts to provide an answer, even if that isn't necessarily the correct one. In doing this, the brain tricks us into making silly mistakes. For example, if I were to ask you the simple question, how many of each kind of animal did Moses take on the ark? Your quick thinking system would most likely lead you to the answer 2. But had you engaged
Okay, so I'm pretty sure it was Noah that took stuff on the ark. Anyway.
slow thinking instead and really thought about the question, you would have realized that it wasn't Moses, but Noah who built the
Ah,
ark.
got it!
This example is known as the Moses illusion. Try another example. You buy a notebook and pen which cost $1.10 in total. The notebook costs $1 more than the pen. So how much does the pen cost?
$2.
Chances are your first thought is 10 cents, even if you then think of the correct answer 5 cents afterwards.
What?
This is because 10 cents sounds like the simpler solution, so your quick thinking system will offer you that first.
Okay, what? Did I miss something? I gotta go back. That one freaking got me.
You buy a notebook and pen which cost $1.10 in total.
Alright, so the, oh, you buy a notebook and pen for $1.10. For a second there, I was thinking that it was just the pen, which was $1.10. Okay.
The notebook costs $1 more than the pen. So how much does the pen cost?
The notebook costs $1 more than the pen. So basically it's 110 minus $1. That would be 10 cents. $1 more than, I don't know.
Chances
bad
are
at
your
math.
first thought is 10 cents,
Yeah, see?
even if you then think of the correct answer 5 cents afterwards. This is because 10 cents sounds like the simpler solution, so your quick thinking system will offer you that first. Number 1. Rubber hand illusion. The rubber hand illusion is an intriguing experiment that shows just how easy it is to confuse the mind. In the experiment, a fake rubber right hand is placed next to the participant's real right hand, with a towel used to cover the elbow. As the participant focuses on the rubber limb, the scientist simultaneously brushes both the fake and the real hand until the brain accepts both hands as real.
Oh, and wait, does like the scientist take a knife and stab the rubber hand and then you're like, ah! Kinda like that?
The participant's pulse is monitored to see their reaction when the scientist then runs a sharp knife over the fake hand. Their heart rate very suddenly increases from the threat of the knife, as much as it would have done with the real hand.
They should really pull a prank and stab the rubber hand, and then just to see that person's like reaction because they think it's their hand. That'd be hilarious.
Although it would just appear to be a cool party trick, the rubber hand illusion is actually an important tool for understanding how sight, touch, and proprioception, the sense of body position, work together to create a convincing feeling of body ownership that is so strong that your brain can be tricked into thinking you have 2 right hands.
Anyway, guys, I hope you like this video. This is fantastic. I would say that this, like, to me, is probably one of the best videos I've seen from All-Time 10s. I mean, it was very interesting. It was quite awesome. It did have optical illusions in it, which I love. So this is by far one of my favorite videos so far from them. But anyway, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, possibly share it with a friend, leave a comment in the comments. If you're new, hit subscribe and join the family today, and also make sure to go subscribe to All Time 10s, that link's in the description. Well, with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.